Hello, vibrant, beautiful souls. I'm so glad that we could join together again today. We'll pull some cards for the collective. As always, my readings are infused with Reiki healing energy through the sound of my voice. I'm going to see what messages lie within the cards as you sit and absorb all of this healing energy. Pull 3 cards today that lets us address some issues that are coming up. Ooh, interesting. We have some concerns. We have our Knight of Pentacles, a little bit of stubborn energy here. He's very diligent. He's laborious. He works very hard. He's loyal. He's determined. He has a tremendous amount of wonderful qualities about him. Sometimes be a little bit difficult to get through. He doesn't necessarily want to listen. He doesn't like the woo-woo talk. He doesn't like feelings. He doesn't communicate well, and he can be a little bit stubborn. That is the facts of the matter. Love him. Love him. Good guy. Good person, I should say, because it doesn't necessarily reflect on male, but good person. These are people that you want on your team. They sometimes don't want to listen. They don't want to learn. They struggle to adapt and to grow. They're so focused on the task at hand that they don't realize that everyone else has moved on. They're still harvesting every last bit of wheat from this one field over here, and the season's already changed, and you're already preparing for the next season. It doesn't mean that what they're doing isn't valuable. It just means that they're not necessarily aware of where they're needed. So sometimes we need to approach them in a different way. Sometimes we need to help them see reason and logic first before they are willing to open up about feelings. Sometimes we need to be very careful that we're providing a safe space for them to be vulnerable until they're willing to open up. This can be a little bit frustrating for example, our cups, our emotional types. Our air types are going to be very short-tempered with this type. Come on, move along, let's go. And our fire is going to be like, what do you mean you don't care? Earth types are like, well, we have to be practical. Absolutely, we have to be practical. But, there's a lot to be accomplished here. We've got this 5 of Discs, a worry card. There's things to be concerned about. There's so many things to be concerned about. And who would argue with that? But what good does it do us to think in those terms, right? What good does it do us to sit there and dwell on things that aren't working? It seems almost pointless to focus only on the things that don't work and never pay attention to the things that do. It's like spending all of your time trying to convince somebody to care about you and to love you in the right ways, and they just never intended on changing. It's not that they're a bad person. It's that they're not the right person. And you know what you deserve, and you know what kind of love exists for you. It might not mesh well. So you're spending all of this time trying to give someone all of the logical reasons why they should care about you, or they should care about this issue, or they should do a specific thing. And they're just sitting there stuck in their thought process. Now, I personally find that energy stuck in worry mode is wasted energy. It is energy that is going to go out into the universe and come back in triple form and absolutely devastate you with more of the same issues, more of the same stagnancy. That to me is not a beneficial way of thinking. I like to look at the problem at hand and think, well, what kind of things could potentially make this easier? Thinking about possible solutions, even if they don't seem completely reasonable, because this is in our pentacles realm. This is all very logical and reasonable and tangible type things, but there is no harm, and in fact, it can be beneficial for us to break that way of thinking, to get out of that cycle. Sometimes we need to combat this heaviness, this way too grounded into this problem, and do some lifting up. Sometimes there needs to be a little bit of inspiration infused in it. Sometimes feelings need to be um, shifted in order to be able to look at it in a different way. We've got our Lovers card here. So we've got our Two of Cups, sorry, Love card. Um, you're not going to find that someone is able to care about you through reason. That's not how it works. There's choices in the matter. We have automatic feelings sometimes for people, and arguably sometimes these are not the best feelings for the right people. And then there's the opportunity that someone takes to get to know you and to say, this is somebody worthy, and I want to do right by them. I want to do the right things for them. Whether we're talking about friends or and platonic relationships or our family, or we're talking about the actual romantic type of love, the initial passion for some people is just not possible. So sometimes we have these other individuals who have taken some time to think about it and have realized that this is just not going to work for them. And no amount of arguing in the world is going to change their mind. So why would we do that? There's some psychological backing behind that behavior. There's a chasing uh, concept. You know, we chase people who are emotionally unavoidable or emotionally avoidant, and there's reasons why some of us do that. But this is suggesting that there's somebody else that wants to love you, and you haven't given them a chance because you've been so focused on the work that you put into this other connection. Spirit wants us to release anything that requires overthinking in this situation. It's not going to benefit us in the long run. It's not going to make things easier. This is less than what we deserve. It doesn't necessarily mean that we want that love bombing, over passionate rush into relationship type feeling. But there is something better here for you. And it's just simply going to be you deciding that I don't have to beg, argue, plead for someone to love me. I am worthy of it without that. And I'm going to choose to love myself in the meantime. And when somebody matches that level, then we'll talk again. We're going to drive this message home in another way. As always, the cards have this way of following a theme, as it were. Peacock spirit, let it shine. Our hawk spirit is let spirit be your guide. And our skunk spirit is know your worth. As we said in the tarot reading, you can't rationalize with people, you can't argue with them and explain to them why you deserve to be treated a certain way. It's a waste of energy, isn't it? Why would you do that? There's so many causes for us to chase affection or appreciation, because we know what we deserve and we can't see the rationale behind why they would not want to demonstrate that for us. Spirit wants to remind us that their behavior is a reflection of their inner feelings and turmoil. It has nothing to do with you, completely separate from you. Your job is to focus on the internal work of you. And the people that recognize and appreciate that will be drawn to you from that. You do not have to chase them. You do not have to rationalize with them why you are deserving. You don't have to give them a rundown list. This isn't a 5-point bulletin of what you accomplished this week. Um, we are instead doing the work. We show up every day. We accomplish what we can accomplish. And there are areas that we are particularly skilled and talented and beautiful. And we do these things, we execute these things, and other people admire it. And eventually, this is what changes people's views of you, not convincing them of it, but you just showing up for you and doing these things. And it may not be the people that you expect, it may be people that you didn't even know were paying attention, but they see something in you. And that is what you really want. You want people to choose you because you're right for them, not because you decided that they were right for you and you want to convince them of that. That isn't going to make you feel good. Ultimately, that rejection that occurs is going to make you feel pretty bad about who you really are. Spirit wants you to know that you already are enough. You're perfect the way that you are. You need to know your own worth and your own value. And another person not seeing that in you is a reflection of how they feel about themselves and about those qualities, not about you. You have to show up for yourself and demonstrate for yourself every day before anyone else will see it. And if the people in that room don't see it, then you go to another room. People in that friend group don't see it, then you go to another friend group. You don't need to convince anybody of how valuable and wonderful you are. You just are. And the people that want you in that circle, that vibe with you, that are on that level energetically, will choose to be around you. So it's asking us, Spirit is asking us to just trust the process. If you feel like it's exerting a lot of effort and energy, if it makes you feel bad, if it doesn't make you feel like you're valued, if it doesn't make you feel like you are appreciated for who you are and the work that you've done, don't go in that room anymore. Leave that space. There are going to be people that want to hear what you have to say, that love being around you, that love the energy that you share. And the more that you focus on yourself and feeling good about yourself and the things that you've accomplished in life and you're continuing to accomplish in life, being a good person, being authentically and genuinely you, there are people that will find you like hawk vision. They will hone in on exactly the type of person that vibes with them. You will come across each other. It is unavoidable. There are times when you feel like there's a gap, there's a space where you had a lot of support and then you realize that it wasn't authentic, it wasn't genuine, or you weren't truly being valued. And so you leave that space. And so there is a period of where you kind of are under the radar of people that are not meant for you. That is not a time to feel sad. That is a time to double down your efforts on doing the things that make you happy. That is a time to say, I'm going to finish this book I never got around to because I was in this space doing these things for these people that didn't value me. I'm going to go ahead and make some art. I'm going to clean my space. I'm going to, do some exercise. I'm going to get involved in an exercise program. I'm going to join this community service operation. I'm going to work on my resume and look for some new jobs. I'm going to, whatever it is that feels good for you, whatever feels like the right thing for you, it's your sign to focus back in on yourself. Because when you do that, you change your own vibration, you raise your own vibration, and then you attract that new crowd even more potently than you would have. So that's all we're doing. We're just stepping back away from areas where people aren't necessarily going to see you for who you are and And maybe they do and it's just not their thing, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. They have their own journey and their own path to work on. You're focused on yours, and spirit just wants you to know that you're doing just fine. Their feelings about you is no reflection upon you, but it does kind of give you an indication of, maybe I'm pouring too much into other people and maybe I need to be pouring back into myself. And when you start doing that and pouring back into yourself, that changes your energy and it draws the people into you that really do appreciate and value you for who you are. So then you feel a lot better about it and you go, oh, okay, get the message. But it doesn't feel like that when you're feeling that rejection. It only feels like that when you're back in that attraction mode. So get back in that attraction mode. Get back in that I'm just doing and vibrating and emitting this beautiful energy. And they'll find me. I trust that. I know that. I'll end up where I need to be. It'll all work out. Interesting how these three cards came out as well. And again, there is a very similar message here. Our storm is when things start looking a little chaotic and uncomfortable. Things start changing in a very drastic way and it doesn't necessarily fit anymore and it's a little bit scary. What do we do in the storm? We go to our protective place. We hunker down. We wait it out. And when the storm has passed, when all of these things have changed, and we were in a protective state the entire time, so we were okay. We just let it happen. We just trust that there's a reason for it. Nature has to come through and do what nature does. We step outside and we survey what has remained. And you'll notice there's a certain freshness to things. Yes, there's some debris that has to be cleared away. And you go, oh, I don't know why I still kept this around anyway. I didn't need this. It's fine. This needed some repairs. That's okay. We'll work on that. But there is a certain, like after a really heavy rain and you walk outside and every single blade of grass is pristine, shining, glimmering in the light. Gorgeous. Storm came through and removed everything that was no longer for you. So it might feel a little heavy and scary right now, but you just need to step back, take some time, protect yourself. And we go through that period that we talked about in the last reading. That period where we kind of hunker down and focus on the self. We're in that empty room and it feels a little bit quiet. Nobody there. Because the people that were not meant for you, the people that you had outgrown, are no longer in that space. This is not a sad place to be. This is a room full of potential because you can do with it whatever feels right. So now this is your room. Spirit wants you to look at this room and think about, what can I do with this space? What do I want to do with this space? Without the influence of anyone else, you're not working towards anyone's goals but your own. This is your room to decorate, right? What are we going to decorate it with? Now, the decorations aren't just things that we place on the wall. We're talking about the energy of the room, the goals of the room. What is the purpose of the room? What does this room serve? Is this a room that you're going to fill up with personal accomplishments? Your artwork? You're going to create new music? You're going to finish your educational goals? There's a community of people that will be so excited to come and check your room out when it's all furnished, when it's all ready. When you have spent all the time seeing all the possibilities that you can do with this room and you start putting in place all the little components that make this room what it is, people will want to come and see this room. This isn't you walking into somebody else's space and admiring it and going, well, maybe you should put the couch over here. And look at you go, no, I put it here for a reason. This is your space. And you decorate it the way that you want to decorate it. You say, there's room for this, and there's room for this, and there's room for this. And then if anyone walks into that room, all of a sudden they say, well, perhaps you should move this. And you say, no, 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 no. It's my room. I created it. You go work on your own. I'll come and visit. But I won't critique it. I won't have any opinions about it because it's yours. This is my space. Mine. This is about me. Everything is always ultimately coming back to you. Ultimately, your happiness is in your hands. And what you do with your life is what draws the right kind of people in to support that. You cannot convince people that you're amazing. You just be amazing. Do the things. They'll find you. And they won't walk in your room and go, well, maybe you should. They'll be walking and go, nice job. I like it. This is great. Do you want to see mine? I'll show you mine. They don't have any opinions about their room, about your room, because they have their own room. That's the kind of people that we want to be around, right? That's somebody that walks in and says, you should have did it this way. You know what? Go work on your own room. Your room is filthy over there. You got nothing in it. The walls, all the pictures are hanging crooked, and you come in mine and have an opinion? Get out of here. No, I'd rather sit in this room alone and look at all the things that I've done and be comfortable in my space. The people that come and visit it have their own rooms, and they come and visit and they go, this is nice, good job. You go, you know what? I like your room too. Your room is great. God, it gives me an idea of what I would do with my own. All that possibility and all that potential is yours when you focus on you. The gem. We know how diamonds are formed, right? All gems are formed this way. There's various components that may or may not be deemed useless by themselves through pressure, forces of nature, time. They become something incredible. All of them are very unique. All of them are so very unique how they were formed. There's a variety of different types of them, and they're all very valuable. They're all incredibly beautiful in their own way. You are a gem. Your unique experiences are composed of all of these different elements through forces of nature, through time, heat and pressure, and cooling, and periods of ups and downs. Eventually, this very unique, absolutely perfect, beautiful, vibrant gem forms. No other person's life was going to create just like this one. It's got to be just you, focused on you. And nobody else is going to look at that gem and say, wow, this one's better. There's none better than another one. They're all gems. They all have their own value. They all have their own purpose. Some people like to look at raw, uncut gems, right? Some people think that's the most incredible thing. Some people like to see one that's a little bit polished. Some people like to see them a little bit more refined. They're all valuable to someone, to some space, for some purpose. There is a place for every single gem of every single component that has endured every single type of combination that the universe can provide it. They're all beautiful in their own way. And so are you. Made that room after that storm, and it's very unique and it's very beautiful. Nobody else can experience life exactly the way that you do. So nobody else is going to come out of it the same exact way, which is why we're so special, why we have to experience our own lives. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope that you find your own path as beautiful and enriching and as important as any others. There is no one that can do life, do your life as well as you can. And there is nothing that is going to come out of anyone else's life that's more beautiful than what it is that you're for joining me on this healing journey. Much love to you.